a refurb of a Canteen in Stormont. Guess how much it's cost you? £500,000. Now, when you're hearing about prioritisation of funds, when you're hearing about money being tight, so Stormont's got to prioritise where money goes and where it doesn't go, £500,000 spent on a canteen at Parliament buildings. This is the Blue Flax Canteen, used by Assembly members, staff and visitors, renovated over the summer. Cost to you, £500,000. The cost was revealed in correspondence to the TV MLA, Timothy Gaston, who described the level of spending as indefensible. We'll hear from Timothy in a moment or two. The Agriculture and Environment Minister, Andrew Muir, was asked about this on Good Morning Ulster this morning. Here's what he said.
I do know it's heavily used by members of staff, MLAs like myself, members of the press, and it also hadn't been refurbished for quite a long period of time. One thing I would say is that there is a focus in that canteen in terms of locally produced food to be served, and I want to commend that because it's really important. We support our farmers in terms of using the really excellent quality food and drink that we have in Northern Ireland, and I'm glad to see that occur in Stormont.
So that's the Alliance Party's Andrew Muir talking about local food produce for a £500,000 refurb. The TUV MLA Timothy Gaston with us this morning. At the end of the day, look, it hasn't been updated substantially since 1998, Timothy.
Morning, Stephen. The canteen was fit for purpose before it had its renovation, and this is a facility that I use maybe once a week, every other week. Before the refurbishment, I seen no problem with facilities that they had. Now that there's been £500,000 spent on it, yes, it's brightened up, it's changed the seating.
What have they
area.
done? What's the refurb? What have they done?
Well, Stephen, that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. We have figures in front of us giving us a breakdown of what the money has been spent on, but I want to drill into that further. So we have basically £40,000 to design the scheme, £28,000 for project management, and £438,000 roughly for refurbishment.
How big is it?
Stephen, have you never been to the Blue Flax?
I don't. I've very rarely been to. I can't remember. I don't know. I certainly can't remember.
I'll give you an invitation to come up and see me someday, and I'll take you down. But let's not go away from that.
How big is it?
The facility, it's all the people in Stormont that want to go to it.
But like I said, I can't get away. 400 grand on a refurb.
Absolutely, and you're wondering what the 500,000 was really spent on. But at a time when families are hard pressed for money, we're approaching Christmas. Just last week, I was at the winter food collection in Tesco's for the Trussell Trust, and they're crying out for people to donate to them because at this time of the year, families are struggling. Families can't make ends meet, and just to get through Christmas, they will be relying on food parcels. And yet at the same time, this figure has been released of £500,000 was spent on refurbishing a canteen.
Can I just get this right? This wasn't building a building. You can build it.
No. This was refurbishing what was there.
So you can build a 2,500. You can build a 2,500 square foot house these days for 500 grand, right? So this was not.
You can buy 2 family homes for the price of this refurbishment.
So this was not building from scratch. This was not founds and building bricks, and this was a refurb.
The infrastructure of the building is still the same. It's cosmetically changed. Now, I do want to drill down into this £438,000 figure to see exactly what that was spent on. Was it spent on what we see of the new seats, the new tables, the new counters, or was it spent actually on things out the back that we can't see? I'm not clear of this, but one thing I am clear of, when this figure came out, it didn't come out signed off by any of the MLAs on the commission, which I find extremely strange. This is the first question I've ever got released to me that hasn't been signed off with one of the commission members. Now, let's not forget the commission is made up of the DUP, Sinn Féin, Ulster Unions, SDLP and Alliance Party. And I believe none of them would come on to defend this spend this morning, and that speaks volumes. They didn't sign off the answer to myself. They'll not come on and defend it in the airwaves, Stephen. So that speaks volumes as to how they look towards us. Yes, it might be nice.
We didn't ask them to come on,
sandwiches.
so they haven't refused to come on for us, but we will ask them to come on.
Absolutely. And the answer the Agriculture Minister gave this morning was nothing other than deflection and a poor attempt at that.
Some people might argue, look, things are dear these days. You know, builders are dear and materials are dear. That's
Groceries are dear, Stephen. Rates bills are dear. Electric bills are dear. You live within your means. You look after your money. You steward it properly. But what we have here is Stormont, who just repeats, on repeat. Everything has to be lavish. Everything has to be spent. You know, spend. People on the ground have to tighten their belts, but not when it comes to Stormont and not when it comes to the money they've spent in the canteen. This is a canteen, it's not a restaurant, it's not open to the public. This is purely for MLAs, staff members and the press.
Former SLP Special Advisor Brendan Mulgrew